Welcome to the Real Film Chatter Podcast, episode 62 from June 26th, 2016.
Shut up and sit down.
Hey everyone, in this episode of Real Film Chatter, we're going to be talking about Justice League, the potential of an X-Men and Avengers crossover, Indiana Jones 5 and a potential reboot, Star Wars Rogue One, and much more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy a brand new episode of Real Film Chatter.
Hello, cinephiles. Welcome to Real Film Chatter, real news for real fans. I'm your host, Sarah Leanne Bard, and this is our weekly show where we talk about the recent movie news with real passion. Joining me on the show today, we have the creator of Real Film Chatter himself, Patrick Campbell.
Hey everyone, it's great to be back. It's another happy Sunday, and this is a weird weekend where I got to see one movie that I never thought would be a 1-star and a 5-star all at once. Independence Day Resurgence is maybe the best, worst movie I've seen in a long time.
And also joining us, the artist formerly known as the Talking Can, Andy Comer.
Hello. Everyone needs to see Neon Demon.
Yeah, definitely we need to go see that. And finally, after a much hyped return, the Waffle Man himself, Diego Crespo.
Hello, I am so happy to be back. Life has taken over my life.
Cinema is saved.
Yes, cinema is
yes.
saved.
Yes, I guess we're referencing movies to go watch. Go watch The Shallows because I had an out-of-body experience when I watched it because it was
I don't
so good.
understand that at all. We need to talk about that afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
so Diego's got this weird obsession with the Blake Lively versus Shark movie.
Or maybe just
Oh,
Blake
it's so
Lively.
good.
It's so much better
so
than it
good.
should be, but it's not great.
Oh, it's the best movie of the year. You
Oh
guys
my
are crazy.
gosh.
No,
No.
you're absolutely insane, but that's why we love you, Diego.
I
Guys,
love you guys too.
it is so good to be back. I'm glad to have everyone here. We have so much cool stuff to talk about, and it's going to probably be a pretty long show because there is a lot to talk about. So let's jump into the box office as we always do. So Andy and Diego, go ahead, take it away. Let's talk the top 10.
Diego, you got it up. You want to start?
Yes, I will. Okay, so the top 10 for the previous week at the box office. Number 1, Finding Dory at $135,060,273. Number 2, Central Intelligence, $35,535,000. The Conjuring 2, $14,880,050. Now You See Me 2 at number 4, $9,373,379. At number 5, Warcraft, which is way too low if you ask me. $7,041,430. Number 6, X-Men Apocalypse, $5,309,290. Number
Way
7,
too high, in my opinion.
I agree. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Out of the Shadows, $5,251,531. Number 8, Alice Through the Looking Glass. Oh my God, that's still here. $4,290,760. Number 9, Me Before You, $3,911,175. And number 10, Captain America: Civil War, $2,331,622.
Oh, snap.
All right. So with that in mind, what is the most interesting thing about the box office numbers to you guys right now?
Interesting first thing was I had the wrong page up, so thank God I sent it over to Diego because I would have said some numbers that you guys would not have meant anything to you guys.
Oh, thank
my
God.
goodness.
'Cause I was worried. You guys were like, oh, can you do that today? I was like, yeah, no problem. I was worried I was going to pull up the wrong page too. So.
Dude, I pulled up the wrong page, and I was like, where is he getting these numbers?
Oh my gosh. Real Film Chatter, where we keep you on your toes, guys.
That's funny. The biggest thing for me is Central Intelligence. I did not think that would be as high as it did. So kudos to that. I still haven't seen it, which is weird because I saw three of the movies that came out this week.
We actually saw it last weekend on Father's Day. We took my dad to see it, and It's actually a pretty fun little buddy comedy. I mean, it's nothing spectacular, but I can see why people like it because The Rock and Kevin Hart are actually really good together. And for once, Kevin Hart isn't playing the over-the-top character. He's playing the straight man, which made it a much different thing for him, and I kind of enjoyed that.
Yeah, I agree because I loved Central Intelligence. Like, not going too much into it, but it actually it's pretty silly, but also serious with addressing like bullying and everything. So it's a pretty good movie. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually saw it the other day instead of Neon Demon or anything else I missed. And I actually didn't hate it. I didn't dislike it at all. I mean, the special effects with The Rock on when he's a younger person was like terrible.
Oh, yeah.
But the movie picks up like immediately after that, and I was like, "Yeah, this is a charming, fine little." I'd welcome a sequel.
Yeah,
I'd
I would
welcome
too.
a sequel, and I didn't hate anything about it. It's a solid 3-star studio comedy.
Yeah,
I'd be
absolutely.
perfectly fine with basically anything The Rock's in.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk more about that because The Rock is in everything recently.
Jesus Christ.
I actually have to say, Finding Dory had a huge opening that I wasn't quite expecting because it is now Pixar's highest grossing opening ever, just ridiculous numbers. And it kind of blows up in the face of everyone who was writing those posts about, oh my God, sequels are dying and they're bad for Hollywood and all this stuff. No one wants sequels. Again, not necessarily the case unless you're a bad sequel. People will turn out if they're, excited about it.
Yeah, we want good movies, which this one is. I would say it's on par with Nemo.
Oh, really?
Personally, yeah, I thought it was as good as Nemo.
I feel like a bad person because I haven't seen it yet.
Same.
You are a terrible person.
I saw Independence Day Resurgence before Finding Dory. I don't know what's the matter with me.
I saw Central Intelligence before Finding Dory. I think I lose here.
No, I definitely lose because Independence Day is like I said, it's the best, worst movie that I've seen in a long time. Or worst, best movie. I'm not really sure which.
Honestly, I don't think it's like a bad movie. It like any problems that movie has, it's stuff that the first one has too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But
there's nothing wrong with that movie.
For me, it's
nothing that makes it unwatchable. I mean,
it's the runtime cutting, 25 minutes from the first. The first movie is 25 minutes longer, and the first half of the movie feels like it's on fast forward because they cut so much out of it. And there's stuff in the trailers that isn't even in the movie. So
that happens with a lot of movies.
Yeah, but for this one, they should have fleshed it out more. That's kind of my big thing. But otherwise, it's just a big, stupid movie, and I enjoyed it. The other thing about the box office, how is Alice still in the top 10?
I loved Diego's reaction. That was great.
I forgot that came out.
I forgot that it was a movie, too, because we're not playing it at my theater anymore.
Yeah, it seems to really have fallen out of, public conscious already, which is not surprising because none of us wanted it to begin with. I can't believe that it's not hanging around. It looks like Jungle Book finally fell out of the top 10. First week in, I think, 10 or 11 weeks now that Jungle Book is not actually in the top 10.
Yeah.
And then I think the final thing is, man, Warcraft had a hell of a drop. Way more than I was expecting. It had an 82% drop, I think, from week 1 to week 2, which is ridiculous. That almost never happens. But the Chinese box office is going crazy for this movie. Yeah. And so any sequel that we're going to end up with is going to come strictly because China absolutely saved this thing.
Well, China also saved Terminator Genesis, so yeah, they're on thin ice.
Yeah, but they also say Pacific Rim, so we give them a pass.
Yeah, but Del Toro's not directing, so...
This is true.
But John Boyega is starring.
Yeah, it's all a wash. It just keeps equaling out.
All right.
Seriously, though, honestly, I'm surprised that Warcraft has made $38 million.
Did you not like it?
I didn't see it yet, and I had no problem against it. I just figured that there was such little buzz that I thought I didn't even think it would break 40, which it's only at 38 right now. So
yeah, I mean, the way it dropped, it might not break 40 in America.
Yeah, seriously.
So, I mean, I really liked it. I think I'm the biggest fan of the movie.
Mike
in the
really
country.
liked it too.
I talked to Mike about it. I think I like it even more than him.
Well, I'm sure you do.
But I haven't. Nobody is interested in seeing it here, though. It's so weird.
I enjoyed
I guess it's not weird because it just never broke the cultural barriers.
I might see it sometime this week. I haven't decided.
I enjoyed it for what it was. I think that much like Independence Day, there was a better movie underneath because the original cut of that movie was 2 hours and 40 minutes, and it's just over 2 hours, which shows that there was a lot cut out, and I think there would have been a better movie had they let it be fleshed out a little more, because the world is great, and it's beautiful, and it's exciting, and I love Duncan Jones. He's a great storyteller. He's just a really great filmmaker, and I really hate seeing this because, you know, his dad passed away. His dad is David Bowie, so I was hoping he'd have a win, and like America's like, nope, we don't care. Sorry.
Well, most people don't know that he's David Bowie's son, if that even mattered.
It should matter. Everything should matter if they knew he was related to David Bowie.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I hope that we do see a sequel. I'd like to see more in this world, just because I want to see what Duncan Jones could do with it, and I really hope that Legendary takes a look at the Chinese market and runs with it. And so
yeah, definitely. If it's something that people enjoy, make more. Unless it's Terminator Genesis
Or Transformers.
Oh, God.
You know, that's a Bay thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Moving on, guys. We're going to go into real news clips. This is a quick rundown of 10 news stories that are going on in the world of movies. We'll kind of talk about a few of the topics that we find the most interesting after Sarah gets done reading it. So, Sarah, go ahead and run.
Run! With just weeks to go before opening, Paul Feig's Ghostbusters has finally released the cover of the famous Ghostbusters theme, Who You Gonna Call? Originally performed by Ray Park Jr., the song has become synonymous with the film. So it was going to be a hard act to follow, definitely. But even then, it seems that the Fall Out Boy cover, featuring Missy Elliott, isn't getting the reception Feig and the studio may have wanted. However, though it may not be the theme we'd bust ghosts to, this could be for a new generation. Time will tell if this version will be able to live alongside the original or be soon forgotten as yet another cover of the classic theme.
All right. So, did you guys listen to this? Did you have any thoughts on it?
I did not listen to it because I'm not interested in this movie, really at all. So I haven't even paid attention. I'm gonna see it when it comes out, and I hope that it's good, but I don't think it will be.
Diego, did you listen to the song?
I have not listened to it. I'm still looking forward to the movie, though. I'm sure this song is terrible because it's Fall Out Boy, and they haven't been great, like recently or like in a long time, unless I was like in middle school. And that's not a slight against anybody who does like them. Just as I got older, I was like, I don't like
just
music anymore.
dropped my wireless mouse on the ground.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And the promotion for this movie has been awful.
Absolutely awful.
Yeah. Paul Feig has a track record of great comedies that have really bad marketing, but they somehow always make money back. So I wonder if that's going to be the same for Ghostbusters. Like, I'm sure it's going to be a good movie. I have no concern about the movie whatsoever. I just think the trailers have been bad. But I mean, given his track record, he's 3 for 3. So I'm not worried at all about that. I just worried about the marketing pushing away.
What else has he done besides Spy?
Bridesmaids and
The
Heat.
Yeah,
I forgot about Heat. I knew he did Bridesmaids too, but I forgot about Heat.
So here's my kind of thing on this. We started to listen to it yesterday, and Diego might be surprised to find out that Fall Out Boy is not the problem with this song at all. It was about halfway through when Missy Elliott starts showing up that it goes completely off the rails. I mean, it wasn't very good to begin with. They
try. Like, they really
try,
do try
but it's
with
not very
great
good.
respect to the original song, but once Missy Elliott comes in, it's just downhill. It just drops. It's so bad.
It's not a good look for this movie. Diego hit it. The marketing, everything about this has been horrible so far. And Feig and everyone has been jumping down at people's throats because there's a lot of stupid people out there that are sexist and attacking it. But then there's the rest of us who are going, it's just that the marketing's not good.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't look good, and it's really frustrating because I want to love this. There's a lot of really funny people in this, and the trailers are doing nothing for me. The marketing is doing nothing. The posters are bad. Everything about this has been bad.
Everything about this has been
I will say, the recent trailers have gotten significantly better for me, and I'm actually laughing at stuff now.
Really? Because it's still not funny to me.
I have yet to laugh at a trailer. Like, when I went to The Shallows, there was a trailer, and my buddy's like, so what do you think about that? And I'm like, I have no interest in that at all. I'm going to see it, and I hope it's good. But no, he's like, dude, I am so excited for that. I'm like, you're like one of the few that I've talked to that said that.
Go to Diego's side.
Yeah. All right. So what's the next story?
Well. Speaking of Feige, it appears the filmmaker isn't out of ideas just yet. The director, who's been busy promoting Ghostbusters, revealed to Empire magazine that he has begun working on a sequel to his hit film Spy that we talked about earlier. Feige had this to say about the film. That's another world that I don't want to walk away from. It's the first thing I did that I set up to be possible franchise, and Melissa is dying to do it. I have a story for it and a funny idea that will kick it off that involves Jason Statham. And he continued with, well, Susan Cooper is one of my favorite characters I've ever come up with. But Rick Ford, to be played by Jason Statham, is possibly the one I'll take to the grave with me. Will he get any more self-aware in the sequel? No, God, no. He'll get less self-aware. End quote. This sounds like a very promising start to a film that Feige should easily deliver on. We're hoping he does because Spy may be the best film in his filmography so far, and we want to see what he can do if he gets to continue it.
So how do you guys feel about this?
Yeah, if as soon as you started talking about that, I'm like, this movie better not be made without Jason Statham, because like he was the best thing in that. Like Melissa, like I don't really care for Melissa McCarthy too much, but I thought she was like that was one of her better ones. But Jason Statham stole every scene he was in because he's just so bad shit in that movie.
And so the fact that it sounds like he's going to be even worse in this one makes it that much better. And I think that that's what's so perfect about the idea of the Spy sequel, because they're saying it's going to be even more of like a buddy cop thing between between him and Melissa McCarthy. So yeah, I just want to see that happen. I just think that would be a ton of fun.
I still need to see Spy. But yeah, I'm excited.
Diego, do you have any thoughts?
Spy, spy, spy.
I once drove a car off a freeway onto a train while I was on fire. Not the car. I was on fire. Dude, this is like the best news ever. He made me laugh so fucking hard. I forgot. Are we allowed to curse in here? Or I'll just.
That was your one F-bomb for the day.
Okay. It's
Put
worth
the quarter in there.
Oh, the good old days when we used to have to fight for the F-bombs.
I'm so sorry. But, oh, yeah, this is great. I love Spy. 2015 had a lot of cool Spy movies, but that was up there for me. Yeah, this is great news.
Awesome. And so what do we have next?
Well, it looks like Bryan Cranston is returning to his roots. And not in a way that many may have expected. After receiving a signal from his wrist communicator, the highly sought-after star has returned to the world of Power Rangers. Taking the role of their leader of the Rangers, the mighty bald alien Zordon, Cranston started his career as a struggling actor voicing villains on the hit Fox series, as well as many other voice-over gigs. Cranston took to Twitter to announce his involvement, saying, "Excited to play Zordon in the Power Rangers movie. True or false? Hashtag Blue Ranger Billy Cranston was named after what actor?" It's fun to see Cranston, who had a lasting legacy on the series, returning so gleefully to the series that gave him a start. That's awesome.
Okay, so I've kind of been whatever about the idea of this Power Rangers movie for a little while. I mean, I grew up on this show, and it's a cheesy, nostalgic kind of thing to watch for fun sometimes. But I love this. I think this is awesome. I think it speaks volumes about Cranston as an actor being so willing to go back to the series that gave him his start, and he knows exactly what it is, and he's so okay with being a part of it, and he is doing it because he loves what it did for his career. Even though it's just little things like voicing characters, I think this is awesome, and it gives the movie a lot of credibility, in my opinion, so I'm all for it.
Yeah, I was never a huge Power Rangers fan, but adding talent should never hurt, and it's better news than that poster that came out that, like,
yeah.
You had to zoom in to see that it was a Power Ranger poster.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah, this is... Sure, why not? I don't want to poop on Power Ranger stuff because I know they got a big fan base. I didn't really grew up with it. I grew up alongside it. I knew everyone watched it. I just never did. And so I have no strong feelings one way or the other. I just really like Bryan Cranston. So sure, why not? But somebody get him into the Marvel movies so he can play a villain there. That'd be cool.
How about J. Jonah Jameson?
Nah, no. That's got to be either Ice Cube or shoot, what's her name from Glee?
Jane Lynch.
The one who Jane Lynch. Yeah, it's got to be Ice Cube or Jane Lynch.
All right. And I think you're lucky that you're not sitting next to Sarah, because the Power Rangers thing, after what you just said earlier, she almost wanted to hit you, man.
I am so excited about this news, y'all, because I mean, like, you're gonna have a Breaking Bad character in like the Power Rangers universe now, kind of. It's great.
I hope that Zordon looks at them and goes, "You're goddamn right."
Honestly, like, this is good news for them because, like, Power Rangers clearly has a pretty big following, considering when X-Men Apocalypse a trailer first came out, everyone's like, "I have a news."
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, like, there's something there where, like, a lot of people recognize or at least acknowledge that Power Rangers is a thing.
Yeah, so I think that's better for the kind of nostalgic reboot thing than some of the other franchises. What do we have
definitely.
next?
After giving us a disappointing first look to Jack Reacher Never Go Back on Entertainment Tonight, Paramount has now released the full trailer for the upcoming sequel in all its action glory. The action-packed trailer gives us a glimpse into director Edward Zwink's take on the popular character, which once again finds Tom Cruise fighting for someone who's been framed for something they didn't do. Jack Reacher Never Go Back follows the title character as he returns to Virginia to meet the head of his former unit. But she's missing. She's being charged with a crime committed nearly 20 years ago, and he may even have a daughter. Making things right will lead him on a cross-country chase to uncover the truth, and maybe even a family. Tom Cruise will kick and punch his way back into theaters on October 21st, 2016.
So what'd you
Fun
guys
fact
think?
about this.
All right.
I like Jack Reacher a lot. And I heard people talking about, the trailer dropped all week long. But I have yet to see the trailer drop on my Twitter timeline. So I have not even watched it because I haven't found the willpower to even look it up yet.
Dude, I posted it like the minute it came out. Come on.
I literally have yet to see anyone, I didn't see that tweet. I literally have not seen one single tweet saying, "Watch this Jack Reacher trailer." Everything I saw about Jack Reacher was, "Oh my god, the trailer is back. The trailer is there. Let's talk about how awesome it's going to be." But, I've yet to see one link.
You're killing me, Smalls. Diego?
But yeah, I'm excited because I like the first one.
Yeah, there's Jack Reacher 2 is going to have for me. And it's, how do you get a better villain than the guy one? You can't just, how do you top Werner Herzog? You know? How do you do that? They wrote themselves into a corner. Creatively, they can only go down from there. So I'm preparing myself for that. But I am really looking forward to this. And Tom Cruise is pretty much an insta-buy for any movie ticket. So, yeah, I like the first one a lot too, Andy.
You guys are not alone in that, because I was actually one of the people. That was one of my favorite movies in 2013 when it came out. Or is it 2014? I can't remember.
I thought it was 2012. Jesus.
It's okay. It's been a little while since the first one. Either way, yeah. I thought the first one was incredibly underrated. I think calling it just Jack Reacher was a disservice to it, because there was no, the whole just name it after a character thing doesn't always work unless it's a sequel to something.
John Carter.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoops.
Yeah, so I really loved the first one, and I liked that it felt like a 70s throwback. This one looks like it's going to be more action and less maybe the noir thriller style. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, because it looks like this story lends itself more to the shoot-'em-up action than the first one did. And I think it's good to see Reacher in these kind of different scenarios, I guess, where you can have him going through different genres. There's not a lot of characters that lend to that. So I think that's actually really cool, and I'm really excited, and I'm with Diego. Tom Cruise is always an insta-buy when it comes to movies. I mean, the Mummy, that new Mummy movie, got an insta-buy the moment he signed on, and it actually got a lot more credibility from me the moment he did.
Definitely. I want to read the books, actually.
Yeah, there's like 27 of them.
Well, so.
Get reading.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, what's next?
Well, famed horror director Eli Roth is setting his sights on a new film that's not quite what you would expect from him. Roth, who's teaming up with actor Jim Carrey, is now attached to bring the graphic novel
Alistar Arcane.
to the big screen for Steven Spielberg and Amblin Entertainment. Yay! The graphic novel's synopsis is as follows.
Alistair Green loves playing late-night TV horror host Alistair Arcane in his hometown of Jackson, Oklahoma, at least until Jackson's establishment forces him off the air and into unhappy retirement and an early grave. But Alistair has left a little gift behind. Will Jackson ever be the same? The incident being referred to in the synopsis finds Green forced off the air after an incident involving 2 children. Following Alistair's death, the town is cursed, and only the kids of Jackson, Oklahoma can save their hometown, a story sounding right up Amblin Entertainment's alley. This seems like a huge departure for Roth, as well as being a creepy return for Carrey, but for once, this has me anticipating an Eli Roth film. Is this what it feels like to actually want to see one of his films? But here's hoping that this is a film that helps Roth break out in a new way and showing how talented he can actually be. So what do you guys think of the idea of him doing an Amblin film?
Nah. No thanks.
No?
I'm gonna pass on this. I'm not an Eli Roth fan. The best thing he's ever done, I think, is Inglourious Bastards. I'm sure he is a nice guy. I don't like his movies. I don't like... Or you know what? I just saw Clown. Clown was good. He produced that. Clown was real good. Go watch Clown, everyone.
I want to see that.
Yeah. I forgot to log it in my letterbox, but yeah, it's good. Go watch that.
You log is more than anybody I know.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after. But yeah, I'm not really looking forward to Eli Roth stuff. But, you know, he loves what he does, and he has the opportunities to do it. So it'd be really cool if this is the one that won me over, because the premise sounds fun.
I think that we don't make enough movies like this that are actually the potential to scare children. And I think that that's a really good thing. And I think Eli Roth actually might be the right guy to make a twisted family movie, something similar to Gremlins and Poltergeist. I think that this could be good, but I'm also not an Eli Roth fan. Much like you guys, there's not much that he's done that I care about. So this is a very hesitant kind of buy, if you will, for me. I want to like this. I hope it's good, but Roth's track record makes me nervous. Sarah, do you have any thoughts?
I love Jim Carrey, and I love Amblin Entertainment, so, I mean, I'm just hopeful. That's really all I can be right now.
Okay, that's fair. What do we have next?
It appears that director Gennady Tarkovsky isn't quite as done with the Hotel Transylvania franchise as he originally led on. While doing press for the second film, Tarkovsky blew off any interest in returning to that world, saying he was looking forward to doing new things. But now, it appears he had a change of heart, as well as a few Benjamins in his bank account, as the famous animation director has now signed on to direct the third film in the hit family series. Following the announcement, this is what Tarkovsky had to say about his return to tell more stories about Dracula and his friends. I thought I was done exploring the world of Hotel Transylvania after the first 2 films, but while I was away from the franchise finishing my TV show Samurai Jack, an idea sparked that I got really excited about and made it irresistible to return and helm myself this third adventure, end quote. We'll have to see just what fun idea he has in store for us when Hotel Transylvania 3 opens in theaters September 21st, 2018.
So how do you guys feel about a third Hotel Transylvania and Tarkovsky coming back to the franchise?
I thought the first one was okay, and I didn't see the second one, so
It's pretty cute.
it's a thing that's happening for the children that enjoy that franchise, and I doubt that they'll notice that he is back.
Yeah, it is a thing that is happening in our lifetime. I'm really excited for Samurai Jack because that is an animation all-timer. So, yeah, I'm excited for him to return to that and finish off the series.
Okay, so I must be out of the three of the guys here. I think I'm the only one who actually really enjoys this series. I actually think it's very well done. It's a lot of fun to watch, and I think a lot of it is because of him, because it's the only Adam Sandler. These are the only two Adam Sandler movies in probably almost the last decade that I can actually sit through. And I think a lot of it is because he actually reigns in Sandler. And I think that the writing is actually very good, and I think he does a really good job with it. So I'm happy that he's returning, because my worst fear was that once he left, Sandler would be able to kind of run amok and do whatever he wanted. And I thought that would take the franchise down the wrong path. And I thought it could ruin it, because I actually think these are a nice nod to the old Universal monsters. There's a lot of fun to be had with them. And, I mean, they're good family movies. They're just kind of fun. And I know, Sarah, you like these, don't you?
They are. They're very, very cute. And they're very, like, a good gateway to showing your kids, like, how to appreciate the
Classics.
Universal monsters and just the classics. And it's adorable. And they don't leave anyone out. Like, like they got Dracula in there, and they have, like
Wolfman.
And they've got
Frankenstein.
all of these characters that, kids should come to appreciate and actually recognize. So I'm still really nervous, though, because I don't know what, like, a third movie. I kind of feel like a third movie is very, like, not called for, though.
I don't even think a
So-
second one was called for. I mean, I thought the second
Yeah.
one was a pretty big step down in quality, but I don't know. I'm still hopeful. And I'm with Diego. I really just care more that Samurai Jack is finally coming back so that they can finish it, because it kind of ended on a cliffhanger a lot of years ago that we never got resolved. So the fact that we're finally getting the final 10 episodes, I guess is what he said it's going to be, of this show to finally finish the storyline has me really, really happy.
Definitely.
I wish it had been a movie. Is that bad? Or like a trilogy of movies? I just want
Samurai Jack.
Yeah, Samurai Jack on the big screen.
I've never watched the show.
Heresy!
so
What?
I'm not really into. Would that be considered anime?
No.
I don't know.
No. It's considered greatness.
Okay, but is it considered anime greatness?
I mean, it's American made though, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know where to draw the line.
Like Avatar: The Last
Is it the, like-
Airbender was in.
Isn't it the same line of Powerpuff Girls and stuff like that?
Yeah, it was all American made, but it was way different than Powerpuff Girls. Samurai
Well,
Jack
yeah,
was
but the
badass.
animation, I mean, is I don't. Sorry, I don't think that it's it would be terrible, but I just never got into it. So I don't know. Well, if there's a movie, I'll check it out probably.
Yeah.
Diego, please help me tell him that he's wrong.
He laughs at your pain. Anyways,
Yeah,
we can
always.
let's move on. That was next on our list was that wasn't the only news that Sony Animation had to offer this week, as the studio also announced that Bob Perschetti, who has done work on such things as Shrek 2, Treasure Planet, and Tarzan, will be taking on the wall crawler in the currently untitled Spider-Man animated film. Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who wrote the script, remain on board to direct.
No,
But-
produce, not direct. It's wrong.
scratch that.
Yeah.
Produce. But their commitments to a galaxy far, far away took them out of the director's chair. Rumors persist that the film will actually follow the legacy Spider-Man himself, Miles Morales, in his first big screen adventure. This is all great news for Spider-Man fans, as well as animation fans in general, and we can't wait to see what Perschetti, Lord, and Miller have up their sleeves when the film opens December 21st, 2018.
Okay, Diego, I feel like you have things to say about this. So what are you feeling?
Yeah. So I'm going to interrupt that because I think that I can't. It feels like that is way too far off. First off, that's a full 2 years. I figured that it would be coming out sometime next year, but I guess the live action is coming out next year, right?
Yeah, next July.
Okay.
Next July.
So that makes more sense, I guess. But I trust these guys with. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a thing that I will definitely have to go see, especially since it's Spider-Man 2. So yeah, I think that these guys will be able to take good care of it.
That's my hope too. I love Spider-Man obviously a lot, and I think the idea of doing an animated film is very interesting. I think you can do a lot with it, and I think even better will be having Miles Morales in the lead. I think that that's a really cool idea to separate it from what Marvel is doing with the character on the big screen in live action. Although a lot of people think Miles Morales may actually show up as a character in Spider-Man Homecoming as well. But I think this is cool, and I think Bruschetti, he has some good credit to his name, which is good. And I just want a really great Spider-Man film that's animated. And I think with Phil Lord and Chris Miller having written the script and stuff like that, this has the potential to be great.
I am so excited. Sorry. I like Spider-Man. I don't know if people know that. If you follow me on Twitter, you might.
You only had a Spider-Man podcast.
Oh, yeah. I don't... Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm a pretty big Spider-Man fan. And I, too, am... I guess I'll just call myself a Miles Morales truther right now. I think for sure he's going to be in Homecoming. Well, obviously not for sure, but theorizing. Because if Marvel wants to start making more Spider-Man movies alongside Sony, which I guess is the plan, Miles Morales might be a cheaper character to loan out than Spider-Man. Like whatever contracts they set up for Peter Parker, I'm sure there was talks of like, okay, what else can we do here, because I mean that's a pretty complicated deal that they set up back in the day. Last year, back in the day. Jesus, it sounds like we're like 80 years old.
I know. In the span of movie news, it is.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, no, I think Miles Morales is going to show up there, and I think he's going to be played by Abraham Atta from
yes,
Beast of No Nation. But I don't know. That's a theory, and I'm really looking forward to the animated one. I wish Lord and Miller were also directing. But
I mean, they got whisked away to a galaxy far, far away on the Millennium Falcon. So
yeah, for the wrong movie. But that's pretty much their entire career. Like, I don't know if this movie's gonna work, and then it's like the best movie ever. So.
Exactly. So that's why I can't even be mad about it. Like, it's clear that it's gonna be the movie that we've been wanting, even though we all hate it right now. Well, except me, because I'm like the one person championing it apparently. So I'm looking forward to it.
I'm very excited because I actually had no idea who Miles Morales was. I literally had to Google it right now. And reading about it, I'm actually really excited to find out more about this.
You didn't know who Miles Morales was?
I didn't even know who Ant-Man was. Or, Captain Marvel. And that's why I'm so excited that they're coming out with content like this to educate people like myself to be excited about elements like this, because people go and they're like, oh, we love Spider-Man, and they don't even know anything about stuff like this. And so I think it's awesome to give them another piece like this that they didn't realize they didn't have. So I'm very, very excited about this.
Patrick, you've failed her.
Have I failed this city?
Yeah, he has, because we built this city. Anyways.
Moving on from that, what do we have next?
Marvel Studios has released 2 new synopses for 2 of their upcoming films, Doctor Strange and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, just in time for Comic-Con 2016. Woo woo. The log lines for their 2 new films are as follows. Marvel's Doctor Strange follows the story of the talented neurosurgeon Dr. Stephen Strange, who after a tragic car accident must put ego aside and learn the secrets of a hidden world of mysticism and alternate dimensions. Based in New York City's Greenwich Village, Dr. Strange must act as an intermediary between the real world and what lies beyond, utilizing a vast array of metaphysical abilities and artifacts to protect the Marvel Cinematic Universe. End quote. While the synopsis for Doctor Strange continues to unravel the film more, the Guardians synopsis still keeps the film a mystery, but makes it that much more tantalizing. Set to the backdrop of awesome mixtape number 2, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 continues the team's adventures as they traverse the outer reaches of the cosmos. The Guardians must fight to keep their newfound family together as they unravel the mysteries of Peter Quill's true parentage. Old foes become new allies, and fan-favorite characters from the classic comics will come to our heroes' aid as the Marvel Cinematic Universe continues to expand. With the end of that synopsis, we'll be learning more about these 2 films in the coming weeks as Marvel Studios unleashes on Hall H once again at San Diego Comic-Con, so stay tuned, true believers.
So what do you guys think of the synopsis for Doctor Strange and Guardians 2?
The Doctor Strange synopsis sounds awesome. I really wish I liked the trailer more. I didn't think it was bad. I should note that too. I just wish it was more visually stunning. I trust Scott Derrickson a lot. That guy's a treasure.
Yes, he
so
is.
I think the movie will be good, but the trailer didn't do much to excite me. And it's already Marvel's first big major misstep because of the whole whitewashing thing, and that's gonna hurt it more than people think. As for the Guardians one, that sounds great. I really want Al Pacino to be Ego the Living Planet still. I'm not sure that'll ever happen, but that's what I want. And James Gunn is pretty much my go-to Marvel guy at the moment. Even though he's only done Guardians, like I like the way he interacts with fans and all the behind-the-scenes stuff he films and shows. And just look at when they wrapped filming and see what the reaction he had with his cast and crew. And there was clearly a lot of love put into this one. And not to say that there aren't always in these Marvel products, but that's the one where I think we're going to see something else really, really special. So I am very excited.
I just want to know, is he going to keep finding mixtapes to continue these movies?
No.
I have a theory about that, if I may.
Go ahead.
Oh.
In Avengers Infinity Wars, because, they're totally going to go team up with the Avengers on Earth to stop Thanos, right?
Yeah.
He's going to discover music from now or the 90s to catch up on what he's missed, right? Like Captain America. And then he's going to take that with him into Guardians 3.
That's actually what I was thinking, too, is that Cap might be... Because Cap and Peter can share that kind of bond that both are sort of men out of time. And Cap would actually help educate him on something like that.
That would be adorable.
I think so. That's what I'm sticking to it.
I'm excited for that for obvious reasons that have already been talked about, like James Gunn being awesome and the first one being good and stuff like that, and who doesn't like a raccoon that shoots huge guns? But Doctor Strange to me, like everyone talks about how Guardians was like Marvel's first big risk, and it was a risk, but I think Doctor Strange is their biggest risk that they've taken, because it is completely different than every other character that they've already put into this universe, and the trailer confused a lot of people that aren't comic book fans. Are like, I have no idea what's happening, and it might turn some people off that just don't care to really give it a shot. So I think that it is by far the biggest risk that they've taken.
I am over the moon for both these movies, and I think that we're all missing the most important part of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, that is the greatness of Kurt Russell, and the fact that we are all pretty sure that he's playing Peter Quill's father.
Hopefully.
I mean, basically, Peter Quill is Jack Burton in space. I've talked about this before. So this idea that Jack Burton is his father is the most perfect casting ever. And I need Guardians 2 in my life already. I've needed it since the movie ended, and I didn't even know that Kurt Russell was going to be in the second one. But now I need it, like, tomorrow.
Doctor Strange is, again, like I was talking about earlier, is one of those characters I had no idea about. But, like Ant-Man, I'm very, very excited to learn about Doctor Strange because the trailer showed such elements of mysticism, as they were saying in the synopsis. And it just, I'm very excited when I see stuff like that. And so learning more about the synopsis, even though like the trailer did show like kind of not a lot, but it did like show stuff. But the mysticism part. And so yeah, so I'm excited about Doctor Strange. And then with the synopsis of Guardians 2, it's exciting. I just mean the synopsis is kind of whatever to me.
Well, that's kind of the point.
But yeah, I mean, I'm excited, of course, because I mean the first one was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
All right, what do we have next?
It appears Michael Fassbender will not be the only familiar face from Prometheus to return in Alien Covenant. While early reports had
Noomi Rapace
returning as Elizabeth Shaw, those rumors quickly died down and then became fully dismissed. It appears there wasn't as much truth to that as originally thought, as Deadline is now reporting that not only is Rapace returning for the sequel, she's already on set and shooting for a week. Though her role in the film remains a mystery, it's safe to say that with the quick shoot time, she's probably shooting the film's opening sequence, so we learn what happens to Shaw between the 10-year gap between the films. This is great news for the series and brings Prometheus that much closer to the world of Alien. In space, no one can hear us scream, but on Earth, everyone will be able to enjoy this film on August 4th, 2017.
So what do you guys think of knowing that Noomi Rapace is back for Alien Covenant?
I'm so excited! I'm a really big Alien fan. Prometheus is a movie with problems and lots of good stuff. So I'm never sure if I like it or dislike it more. Noomi Rapace.
See?
No, see, I knew how to say it before I tried saying it again. She was one of the best things about Prometheus alongside Michael Fassbender. See, I can say his name fine. That's weird. This is cool news. I bet she's just going to be like in the first 10 minutes and then she's going to die. Like, for everyone involved in the movieverse like us, like the casual people who really like Prometheus and want to see the sequel, it's going to be like a Psycho type thing, I bet, where it's like, oh yeah, she's coming back, oh, she's dead, like immediately, instead of the halfway point. So, good stuff. After The Counselor, I know none of you liked The Counselor, but I really did. After those two movies, I trust Ridley Scott implicitly with my life again, so I'm much looking forward to this.
I am iffy. I'll wait for the trailer. Yeah. She doesn't add anything. Fassbender adds more for me than she does, because I haven't seen or watched any of the original Girl with the Dragon stuff. So I don't know how she did with that stuff, but like anything I've seen her in is Americanized, and she hasn't really wowed me, so it doesn't really do anything for me. But I'm excited for Fassbender.
Okay, all right, fair. I liked her a lot in Prometheus. I thought it was kind of ridiculous when we started hearing that, oh, they're not even going to deal with what happened to Shaw. It's just going to kind of be a thing that we pretend is not something to worry about. This makes me feel better that we're actually going to see what happens to her, because the Prometheus ends on a way that you need to know what happens to her. I mean, she's looking for the answers to, God and humanity, and she's on this mission now with David, who's just ahead by the time it's over. So I think this is good that it's tying up loose ends and as we move forward into the Alien series, and I'm excited.
I have yet to see Prometheus. I've seen 1 and 2.
Yeah, you've seen Alien and Aliens.
But I liked the first 2, and so I'd like more Alien content. So, yeah, that's all I have to say.
Alien 3 when?
Alien 3.
Alien 3 when?
All right. And what is our last bit of the real news clips?
Steven Spielberg is getting ready to begin production on his next film, the action-adventure film Ready Player One, based on the novel by Ernest Cline. The film is a pop culture smorgasbord of 80s references, including many of Spielberg's own films. In a recent interview with The Berg, he revealed that many of the references to his films have been cut out to keep the movie from being a little too meta. I think we're pretty awesome in the 80s. I hope the movie returns all of us to the awesomeness of the 80s. I love the 80s. I think one of the reasons I decided to make the movie was that it brought me back to the 80s and lets me do anything I want, except for with my own movies. I've cut most of my movies out of Ernest Cline's book, except for The DeLorean and a couple other things that I had something to do with. I cut a lot of my own references out of the 80s. I was very happy to see there was enough without me that made the 80s a great time to grow up. We have to trust Spielberg that he knows what he's doing, but it's a little disappointing to see him cutting references too much of his great work out of the film. But with so many other ways to go, we're sure the film is going to turn out great regardless.
I'm really kind of bummed out about this, but I'm happy to see the DeLorean stuff is going to be left intact. But I feel like if it was in the book and Spielberg decided to take this on, he should have just run with the references to his work and really just let it speak for himself, because it's almost, for him, it would be like a fun greatest hits of his career in the 80s. So it's a little bit of a bummer to me that didn't end up happening, but I'm not going to be down on it because I still think Ready Player One has the chance to be a really great return to fun movies that he hasn't done in a while. So it's a bummer, but I'm still looking forward to it.
This pretty much confirms to me that I'm going to like Ready Player One. I have not positive feelings, like aggressively not positive feelings about the book at all. And this shows that Spielberg, this is why he's the best. He doesn't suck his own, for sure.
Thank you.
He's not flashy. He doesn't want to be in your face about how good he is. He's an artist who knows his craft, and he's humble. And so, of course, he's going to cut that stuff out. And I think because of the nature of Spielberg and the types of stories he tells, this is going to save this story for me. This is going to make a good movie, even for someone like me who doesn't like the book. So I am on board with this movie.
I am excited for it. I haven't read the book. If it gets delayed one more time, I'm probably going to read the book to see if it's even worth it. Yeah, it's okay, dear. It's
Tina
okay.
Belcher,
Okay.
shut up.
I'll live. Reading is good for me.
No, it is good for you, just not this book.
But I just need to get. I just need something solid. This is one of those movies. How long has he been trying to work on this?
Years
Like 2
now.
years, right?
No, longer than that. It's
Yeah, I feel
probably
like
closer
2
to
years.
4 or 5.
Maybe
Oh,
the one
shit.
that I'm thinking of that's taking forever is Robo-Apocalypse.
Oh, yeah. The one that he had Hemsworth and Hathaway that he lined up.
Anyway, like it's movies like these that just like take forever to get made that like makes me not excited about movie news. Like, because I'm like, okay, when is it going to get canceled?
Yeah.
Because like everything gets out so fast that it's like it falls right after. And that's like there's so much movie news all the time. Like 6 months is a long time, because like so much is always changing, and I just want this movie to come out because it sounds really cool, like a really cool idea to me. And Spielberg. So yeah, just give me the movie already.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Sarah, do you have any thoughts?
I mean, I heard about this movie and I was just like, well, sign me up. Like, I mean, there's no way it could be bad, but there's always that possibility. But I mean, I just want this movie now, like yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. So with that, we are going to move on to our few topics. There's a lot to digest and talk about over the next hour, probably. So let's get into this. The first story is one that I really just this frustrates me. This Death Wish remake doesn't even need to be made. We've been talking about the Death Wish remake for a while now. It's been a movie that cycled through actors. Sylvester Stallone was at one time attached to it. They've had a few other actors until it landed with Bruce Willis. And as we all know, Bruce Willis mails in every one of his performances at this point in his career because he hates action movies. He's admitted it. It's disgusting that he keeps doing them, thinking that people will just turn out to watch them. But
I don't understand that at all. How can he do so many if he hates them?
Because it's a paycheck. And he's admitted that.
Yeah.
Good on him for admitting it, but screw him.
He still keeps making them.
And this was also a movie that it hasn't just lost actors, it's lost a lot of directors along the way, including guys like Joe Carnahan, who are incredibly talented filmmakers. Carnahan ended up finally moving off of it to do Bad Boys 3. But now it looks like not only is this Bruce Willis Death Wish happening, it is going to be directed by Eli Roth. So we just heard Roth was going to do an Amblin film, but he's also looking to do this revenge action film that is apparently going to be, as much as they can, almost a beat-for-beat remake of the original, which makes this seem all the more pointless. And I don't trust Roth, really, to do this film well, and I don't trust Willis to even try to act in it. So for me, this just seems like a big ball of not good, if you will. How do you guys feel about this?
Yeah, no, nah. Like, the first Eli Roth story is like a nah, but it's like a humble nah. This is a double nope. No, thank you. Repackage it, return to sender.
Nah,
No
trick, nah.
interest. Yeah, because I mean, Death Wish is like really hardcore. It would line up with a lot of conservative ideals. It's a really well-made movie, but it's like, it's not the type of movie we need nowadays. And dear God, Eli Roth is not the person to bring it to us.
Yes, I totally agree. This is definitely not a movie that we need today, this year, at all. In the coming years, we do not need this movie, especially with these guys involved, because, like we've talked about with Eli, and if Bruce Willis isn't even trying, then what's the point?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's really the biggest thing is, and they're trying to make it sound like this is a great thing because Bruce Willis signed off on the script. Bruce Willis was the same guy who signed off on A Good Day to Die Hard. Like, have we forgotten that? He was the one who spearheaded that movie and okayed it from every...
What movie are you talking about?
The worst action sequel ever made.
I don't know what one that is. I'm sorry. I've never heard of a... You said A Good Day to Die. Are you making this up?
No.
Do you want that movie?
Oh God, I keep forgetting that it actually exists, and then it pops up in my head, and it gives me nightmares. And so
I'm pretty sure that movie was so bad that I won action franchise championship with Mad Max in an episode that never made it to air.
Oh my God, I forgot about that because we all got so crazy.
We got so mad about that movie that we decided that it wasn't appropriate to post that video.
Yeah, that was.
Oh my God,
that was a 2-hour episode that we did that never aired because we got so angry about A Good Day to Die Hard.
But it is a fact that I won action franchise championship
with Mad Max. Yes, you did. So I think that we can all safely assume that this is not a movie we're really looking forward to. Sarah, do you care at all? Yeah, exactly. So we're going to move on from that into much more exciting news, which is John Boyega is going to be in Kathryn Bigelow's next film, which is based in the Detroit riots. There's not a ton right now known, but Annapurna Pictures announced this week that John Boyega was joining the film, and it will take place over the 5 haunting summer days in 1967 while Detroit had their devastating riots. We really don't have much more than that, but the idea of John Boyega, someone who's this great up-and-coming actor out of Star Wars, he's going to be leading Pacific Rim, he's the most underrated actor of the last decade thanks to his performance in Attack the Block, and to see him working with someone like Kathryn Bigelow, who is an incredibly gifted filmmaker. She's done such great work. I love this idea, and I think that it's great that Boyega is going to be able to really try at something more dramatic and less sci-fi, because I'm getting so used to seeing him in science fiction type films and things like that, that this is a great move, and I think it's going to give audiences an idea of what Boyega can do as an actor, and I'm all about this.
Wait, I thought that aliens were attacking Detroit that started the riots.
No, I'm sorry, Andy. That is not what happened.
Wrong timeline.
Regardless, this is still the best movie news I've heard all week because of the director, the main actor. This sounds like Boyega's chance for like Fruitvale Station-esque movie. So I'm super stoked. I'm really jacked for this movie. I'm sold. I want to see the trailer tomorrow and the movie on Friday.
Awesome.
Yes.
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 Are we doing a slow clap? What are we doing?
Words can't describe how good this news is. This is just yes. Kathryn Bigelow, John Boyega.
Yes.
And it's crazy that it's already been 50 years since the Detroit riots happened. They're trying to get it out in time for the 50th anniversary. So I mean, they're trying to, especially with what's been going on with the racism that's running across the country, and the way that it really seems like our country is falling apart at the seams because we all can't get along, is the same thing that was happening in Detroit in 1967. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a really timely topic, too, in the middle, it admits all the things happening. And I love this. I think that, like you guys, I think it was Andy said this could be his Fruitvale Station. He could really do what Michael B. Jordan did and deliver a dramatic performance that no one's expecting. And I think that it's going to be exactly what it is. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get a Best Actor nomination from it. Am I the only one thinking that?
Nope. That's why we were saying. That's exactly why I brought up Fruitvale.
Yeah.
I mean, to get a little more talky on this, Kathryn Bigelow is she's like top 10 filmmakers for me, and she hasn't even made that many movies. Like, I think she's got a better track record than James Cameron, if I'm being honest, because she didn't make Avatar.
I agree.
Too.
And or Avatar 2, 3, 4, 5.
If they ever make those. Again, not to slight James Cameron or anything, but a lot of people really don't understand just how talented she is. And while this news is great, eventually I would very much like to see her take on a genre project again, because it's hard to track is just as the first Terminator and Terminator 2. Like, please, if you have watched Near Dark, it's so good.
Let me write that down real quick.
Okay.
Please.
Can we also remember that she also gave us one of the greatest action movies of all time in Point Break, which is one of Patrick Swayze's best performances, as well as Keanu Reeves?
I am an F.
I was about to say that.
You were about to say that too?
I was about to say that.
Well,
I was about to say that, and then you started saying it.
Well, that's because that's why we're brothers and we share the same mind.
And you finish each other's sandwiches.
Exactly. But I love this. I do agree with Diego. I think she's incredibly talented. I think she is more talented in a lot of ways than James Cameron, because I think she can tell more compelling stories than he does normally, and does it with finesse, and doesn't want to leave me on Pandora for 4 more movies. Not that
he just had a really bad trip.
Dude, I'm not bitter or anything about this Avatar stuff. I think Cameron's wasting his time, if I'm being completely honest.
You don't want to go to Avatar Land?
No. I think there's...
Honestly, the drop between Avatar and Avatar 2 is probably going to be just as bad as Alice and Alice 2.
I really think so, too.
Like, comparatively, it easily should, because Avatar's the highest grossing movie of all time. That's like the easiest bet I could take.
That is very true. There's no way it's going to even come close to that.
It won't. Avatar 2 right now is so far out of Avatar, time-wise, it will not make $800 million worldwide.
I don't know. I would say it's gonna make at least $1 billion off of China's box office.
China is a powerhouse. No, but that's what I'm saying. China will give it 300 or 400 million, but America is not going to pass 100.
Okay, I could see that. Diego, any thoughts?
I think it's going to make $1 billion still, but only because the marketing. Something with James Cameron, he's got the magic touch to make money, but it's not going to make the $2 billion.
He
It's not
does
gonna
have the
be-
2 highest grossing films of all time. So
Yeah, he's got something he does with his movies, taps into some deeper part of us that makes us all want to go watch them. Maybe not as individuals, but like as a collective, like
Yeah.
society. He knows what people want, and he knows how to make that really well.
if we started an anti-Avatar like petition, do you think that he would actually honor it if enough people
No,
No, God, no.
I mean, I don't think we should because
He likes money.
taking it serious? I was just wondering
okay.
if he would honor it or you just laugh at it.
He'd
I
laugh
would
at it
laugh
because
at
he
it.
likes
He'd be
money.
like, I'm James F. and Cameron. I got Oscars.
Or let's get the government involved and be like, stop this man. He's wasting all of our time.
The FBI.
Anyways, moving on from the James Cameron talk before we go completely off the rails, because we can. It looks like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is once again about to sign up for another film franchise because the man is a clone.
How?
He doesn't sleep. There's more than one of him, I'm now convinced, as Universal Pictures, his home studio at this point, is eyeing him to take on the role of the Wolfman in the new Universal Monsters Cinematic Universe. Right now, it's just a little bit of a rumor. There's not a lot saying that it is going to happen, but Aaron Guzowski, I can never say his name correctly, but he wrote Prisoners, wrote The Wolfman, and now as Universal, who is doing the London franchise now with The Rock, the Fast series with The Rock, they did Central Intelligence with him, and now they're looking to add him into the cinematic universe of these Universal monsters with Tom Cruise and Russell Crowe. It kind of makes sense. They're going for big talent. You have Tom Cruise, Russell Crowe, Johnny Depp, and The Rock leading this franchise. There's a lot that can go really, really right with this. But the interesting idea is of someone like The Rock playing the Wolfman. The Wolfman is normally someone that's a lot less intimidating on the outside and someone who's very scarred and beaten. But The Rock has proven he can play characters like that with movies like Snitch, movies like Gridiron Gang, and movies, Faster? Faster, where he really doesn't talk much at all, and he escapes prison. I think this is very interesting news, and I'm actually not adverse to it.
This is weird. I will watch The Rock and anything, so I'm gonna watch this too. But this is weird. Like, they're really pushing. Oh, I remember a while ago, there was during one of the THR roundups, they got all of the studio heads together and basically talking about their shared universe plans because everyone's got to have one now. So Sony was like their thing when they still had a thing and they didn't rely on Marvel. That worked out for the better for everyone.
Yeah.
And then, obviously Disney talked about their Marvel stuff, and then Star Wars, Kathleen Kennedy, I think. And then Universal's like, well, we don't have superheroes per se, but we have these classic Universal monsters. And I was like, oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, make a horror franchise. And then the head of the studio at that time was saying, oh, we're going to make them into more superhero. And I was like, no. You don't want to make the landscape all look the same. You want to evolve it and do your own thing with it. And this is really odd that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is going to be the Wolfman, because I think that shines a light on their misunderstanding of the material.
They've moved away from the action aspect, though. I think that they really are looking for something a little more introverted from him.
Did anybody see Dracula Untold?
Yeah, but I mean, that's not a part of this.
Thank
It
God.
wasn't? I thought it was.
No,
it was
no.
going to be.
It was
and then
okay.
they were like, oh, nobody watched this and nobody liked it.
Well,
People
and it
didn't watch
wasn't done by any of the people who were involved in this cinematic universe, and
Okay.
it was
So
already
that
in
means
production.
that means that Yo Frankenstein isn't either, right?
No.
Y-
Oh, that's the best poster ever.
that movie wasn't even made by Universal.
Yeah, no,
Okay, I
that
didn't
wasn't going
know.
to be connected in any way.
Yeah.
Okay, because I know that these characters are like public domain and like anyone can make them, but like, yeah,
I
I
think
didn't know if they were connected in their universe that they were working on.
no, not this one. And the thing is, the good thing about this franchise, and it's the one thing that every other cinematic universe has at the studios hasn't figured out, other than Universal. It feels like there's a writer's room, and they all sat down with people long before they even announced it. and put people on projects and kind of meticulously work together to do this. And it seems like that they're thinking this through without jumping in, versus, Sony went hog wild and just started giving everyone projects and just letting them do it with no real rhyme or reason. But it looks like here everyone's kind of worked together to make sure that they bring the Universal monsters back really respectfully. At least that's on the outside looking in, that's how it looks.
Cool.
All right. Sarah, do you have any thoughts? No? All right. Moving on, we are going to talk a little bit about Indiana Jones and the future of this franchise. Over the last, couple months, we started hearing all sorts of things going on about the series, with Harrison Ford returning, which actually surprised me, as well as Steven Spielberg. And that was a great thing. It's good that they get to go out on a high note. And now Steven Spielberg is saying that not only that, George Lucas is actually going to be the executive producer on the film, saying George is going to executive produce on it with me. I would never make an Indiana Jones film without George Lucas. That would be insane. I actually think that this is going to be a in-name only, honoring Lucas sort of thing. I really don't think he's going to be involved in any heavy sort of way, because up until now, this is the first time we've actually heard Lucas was involved in any capacity. We've heard about Frank Darabont, or not Frank Darabont, oh my goodness, David Coop is writing the script, and we heard about that before Lucas was even apparently involved. And Frank Marshall and Kathleen Kennedy, of course, are producing it. And I just don't see Lucas really having any involvement, because it seemed like a lot of the stuff people didn't like from Crystal Skull was the stuff that he put in. And Lucas is really shying away from the film business. So for me, this feels like more of a tribute in name only versus him actually having any involvement.
Yeah, I feel the same way about it. I don't see how he's going to have the same capacity that he did on Crystal Skull or any of the originals. I think he's going to, maybe, if anything, be an idea man like he was in the original trilogy. And then Spielberg, I think, is more game than he was back then, because if you watch the behind-the-scenes stuff for Crystal Skull, they're very candid. About just not wanting to make the movie initially, and then they were just like, okay, why not? And at some points of the film, I guess it comes across to some people that was the case, to put it politely. So this stuff's cool. I don't see why we need Harrison Ford back. I know he likes the character. This and Blade Runner were the ones that he really wanted to get back to, and now he has the opportunity to do so. So that's cool. But he's really old, man. Like, he can't do the stuff he used to.
I have a theory, and I'll get to it when we get to the next part of the story, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
But yeah, isn't he doing the Han thing?
What do you mean?
Han Solo doesn't swing from tree branches.
Yeah,
man.
but what I'm referring to is the end of Episode 7.
No, they have already said that they're not killing off the character.
Oh, that too.
Yeah, Spielberg already said that he flat out will not be killing the character at the end of the movie.
Okay. Just making sure that child will just do it.
Hey, he was not the problem with that.
That was a double joke.
Oh.
Do it!
Andy, how do you feel about Lucas being involved in this?
I don't care. I just want the movie to be good, unlike Crystal Skull. I really hate Crystal Skull more than you guys do, I think.
But you like the Lost World Jurassic Park, Jesus Christ.
more than Crystal Skull.
Oh, God.
Nope.
Yeah.
God, no. Anyway.
Yeah. Fields of raptors and gymnastics attacking raptors and defeating them is better than all that CGI crap at the end of Crystal Skull.
All right. Well,
what's Sarah's opinion? What is better?
Yeah, Sarah, how do you feel about Lucas
This
coming
is
back?
one of the few times where your opinion can actually matter. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Okay,
Your
Andy.
opinion always matters.
Well, one, she actually likes Crystal Skull, unlike you.
Yeah.
More than Lost World?
Well, I mean,
It has dinosaurs.
That's true. He's got a good point.
I like Crystal Skull. Okay, I do.
But more than Lost World is the question.
I have to rewatch it to say whether,
It's a
to
better
decide.
movie.
Yeah, I'm not going to be peer pressured by Andy. But how I feel about this is, I have to agree with Andy. I just don't care. I just want the movie.
Okay, that's fair.
Like, it's just Lucas is a big name, and that's all it is to me.
Okay. Well, on top of this news, the Hollywood Reporter actually was talking to Bob Iger about the future of the franchise and asked if they were going to do like a film universe in the same style of Star Wars and everything else. And he said, "No, we're not like Star Wars, no, but we do hope. Right now, we're focused on a reboot or a continuum, and then a reboot of some sort." He went on to say that, well, we're bringing Harrison Ford back, and then we have to figure out what comes next. That's what I mean. It's not really a reboot. It's a reboot. I don't know. We got Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones in the film, but then what's the direction? I've had discussions about what direction it is, but I don't want to get into it. So here's my theory about all of this. And I think that it's actually going to be the thing that makes the most sense, is that the reason Ford is coming back is for him to find closure with Spielberg in the series, but we're actually going to see a scene very similar to what we saw in Last Crusade, and I think that those Chris Pratt rumors were a lot more true than people are going to realize, and I think he's actually going to be in a scene similar to what River Phoenix was in The Last Crusade, where we saw a younger version of Indy. I think that we're going to have a scene in the film that plays out the same way, so we get to see Indy younger again, and then from there, the series can continue with that actor. So the idea that's why I think he's having a hard time talking about what he wants or how to say it, because it wouldn't be really a reboot, and it's not really a continuation. It would be kind of be its own thing, and I think that's going to be the way they're going to handle this. So it's going to be a farewell to Harrison Ford and Steven Spielberg while moving forward with the new actor, who will probably be Chris Pratt.
See, that makes a lot of sense, because about a year ago, when Chris Pratt was on Jimmy Kimmel, I forget promoting what, I think Jurassic World, they were casually talking. You can see the clip on YouTube or somewhere on the internet. Yeah, I think you guys are familiar with what I'm talking about, right? He's talking to Jimmy Kimmel, and then Jimmy Kimmel just throws him a curveball, like out of nowhere. He goes, "So you're going to be the new Indiana Jones, right?" And then he's like, that's not in the notes." And then he puts his hand over his mouth, and he mouths, "You."
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, geez, I wonder what that could mean. You know?
I mean, obviously, he's worked with Frank Marshall, because Marshall produced all the Jurassic Park movies. Kathleen Kennedy, obviously, is married to him. They all know each other, and he just worked with Spielberg on Jurassic World. Right? So, I mean, the big thing right now is keeping... A lot of Hollywood is going back to the old Hollywood mentality of keeping talent in the family, where you kind of bring them in and make sure that they stay in your studio, even if it's a subsidiary in the studio. So you see people like Lupita Nyong'o, who's at Disney at, the animation level, at the live action level, at the Lucasfilm level, at the Marvel level now. And I think that's what we're going to see here, is that we're going to see him as Star-Lord, but we're also going to see him as Indiana Jones. I really believe that is still true, and I really believe that's the route that they're going to take.
They like their money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Andy, do you have any thoughts on that?
Nah, just not really.
You still just want the movie?
Yeah, I just want the movie. Like, it's more that I want the movie. I just want the movie to be good, and that's all I really care about.
Yeah.
And beyond that, I don't know. No, it's nothing really.
It seems kind of weird that we're already talking about the idea of what happens next, and we haven't even seen the fifth film.
Yeah.
But that's very typical of Hollywood nowadays, because, Roland Emmerich's out there talking about Independence Day 3 already, and if this weekend's box office is any indication, that's probably a thing that's not going to happen. So,
yeah, but 3 was supposed to be filmed at the same time. Like, originally,
it should have been.
They were in talks of doing it back to back, and
Fox pulled the plug.
Yeah.
I really don't think Fox's heart was fully even in backing this movie, if I'm being honest.
Well, with the way that they ended it, they should have done it they should have just got them both filmed so that they're both going to come out.
I agree.
Especially ending it the way they did. They have that's a huge cliffhanger. Like, you're like, what? This, like, if I explain to you the plot of the first movie, the second movie, and then you hear about how they did, how the third one is teased at the end of this one, you're gonna be like, that would be the best one. That's the one I want to see. That would be the most fun sounding movie.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
If you haven't seen any of them, that would be the one that sounds like the most fun.
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't they, if they already went through with this one? It's gonna be something that that is a sequel that I will be calling for 20 years, and we probably won't get.
Yeah, probably. That's probably true.
We got this sequel after not calling for it for 20 years.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on from that, we're going to talk a little bit about the Justice League. Of course, everyone knows that after this past March, Batman v Superman's performance was something that became a very big point of discussion for a lot of people across not just Hollywood, but blogs. Everyone's talking about the fact that Batman v Superman did not make $1 billion at the box office, and how the film itself turned out. This has been something that they've really been fighting, especially now with Justice League, which was going into production just after Batman v Superman came out. And of course now, in a kind of a way to about face and really get people talking about it again, this last weekend, they actually had a ton of bloggers fly out to London where it's filming, and had them release set visit reports on Tuesday. Set visit reports are almost always held for a year, over a year sometimes. But this time, they released it on Tuesday because they wanted to try to right the ship on how fans were thinking about this film. First things first is we actually got the synopsis for the film, which is as follows. Fueled by his restored faith in humanity, inspired by Superman's selfless act, Bruce Wayne enlists the help of his newfound ally, Diana Prince, to face an even greater enemy. Together, Batman and Wonder Woman work quickly to find and recruit a team of metahumans to stand against this newly awakened threat. But despite the formation of this unprecedented League of Heroes, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg, and the Flash, it may already be too late to save the planet from an assault of catastrophic proportions. Directed by Zack Snyder, this marks the big screen debut of the Justice League, featuring an all-star lineup: Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa, Ezra Miller, and Ray Fisher. What do you guys think of the Justice League synopsis?
Boy, I wish the last movie was good so I could be excited for it. Yeah. I like everything that was also said in the set visits.
Yes. And
the problem is that it's exactly what we want to hear, and it feels very calculated in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, geez, well, I think the part where they totally lost me, even though the stuff reads well, there's a lot of really good reports on there. When Deborah Snyder says, we realize people don't want deconstructionist stories, I immediately facepalmed and was like, oh no, they don't get it. They don't get that the filmmaking is the problem and not the ideas. It's the filmmaking. People don't care what sort of stories you tell as long as you tell it well. I mean, sure, it's a little darker. I mean, people didn't like Alien 3 when it initially came out because of how dark it was. But, I mean, if you watch Assembly Cut, I think I will go into full length of why that's great. The problem wasn't that it was just dark and bleak. The problem was that there was a lot of incompetent filmmaking, and that's probably not going to change. At the end of the day, this is still a Zack Snyder movie, even with studio interference and whatnot to make it better. And Ben Affleck probably footballing the whole thing, or quarterbacking the whole thing. It's nice. It's nice that they're doing this. I won't watch it opening weekend. I'd have to be convinced to go watch it in the theater, if I'm being honest, just because BVS left me feeling sick and nasty, and it's probably my least favorite superhero movie, and I wasn't expecting to dislike it that much. So I gotta wait a while to see if I'm even gonna watch this movie.
Andy?
This movie, Diego, do you remember I'm General Washington, and do you remember the names I gave you guys?
I think so.
I don't remember. I just know that I have it pinned on my
Okay.
that I'm General Washington on this war against Batman v Superman. Seriously, like, I haven't decided if I'm going to even buy this movie, because it's just, like, I might just so that I can watch the 30 extra minutes to figure out if that, this movie, I don't know. This franchise is, they did the right thing. They had it shows how that they had a set visit and told them that they could post it the next day. Because they obviously lost a lot of money and they lost like, enough that it lost, like, Diego's not seeing it. A lot of other people aren't seeing it. Like, that movie lost movie money for the next movie that's coming out in that universe.
Yeah, I hear you
They're like
guys.
really hurting. And they need this to come back as quickly as possible. Otherwise, they're screwed, and they're going to have to start all over again. At which point, it would be pointless anyway. Like, no one's going to care. This is such a disappointment. Like, seriously, that movie hurt me because of the disappointment. Not just because of how bad it was. Like, not, like, it didn't offend me. It just, like, disappointed me to, like... I just want to disown it if I was its parent. Like, if I was Zack Snyder, I would not want to make the next one because I'd feel so disappointed in it.
Yeah, I hear you there. And I mean, I liked Batman v Superman more than you guys, but it's clearly with issue. It's got lots and lots and lots of them. And I feel like there's a good setup here. I really do. I thought that Ben Affleck was such a good Batman, and I liked Gal Gadot a lot as Wonder Woman. And I thought that the potential to do something was there, but I'm kind of understanding where you guys are coming from with the Deborah Snyder comment. I get that. I really do. It did seem a little bit like she might have not understood, and they may not have understood, but at the same time, I kind of believe that there is a part of the audience that is over deconstructing heroes. I think that's a big reason people don't like Iron Man 3. I think it's a big reason why people don't really care for the Wolverine. I think that people want to see heroic heroes that don't come with baggage, which actually explains why Spider-Man went over so well in Civil War, because there was no baggage. He was just Spider-Man being Spider-Man. And I think that that was a lot of what people maybe are looking for. And I think that there was a lot of good that did come out of this set visit. There was a lot of talk about, Snyder even admitted to having made mistakes. He wasn't expecting the backlash, which doesn't surprise me. But at least he kind of does admit to it. And I'm hoping that he is learning from this. I really am. I want to see a great Justice League film. And I think visually Snyder can really make a great team-up movie. But is there the potential to have a good movie inside of it? And it's really going to come down to the script. And it sounds like they're trying to lighten the tone. There's a scene that they talked about that they watched that was already completed between Batman and The Flash that sounded really, really similar to the scene that Tony shared with Peter Parker in Civil War, where Flash meets Batman for the first time. And they also talked about, it sounded like he was very funny. And Flash is just kind of excited to when he figures out that Bruce Wayne is actually Batman, and he doesn't want to talk about the fact that he's the Flash. And it sounds like they're trying really hard to right the ship, but I'm almost worried that for a lot of people, maybe it's going to be too late, and they were already too far along that they can't. But I've heard that WB is really bearing down on this because there was a lot of talk that they wanted to fire him. And they didn't do it, but they put Affleck on as an executive producer to kind of watch over him. So, I don't know. There's a lot of moving parts to this. And it could really go either way.
I'm really, really excited for just to see Aquaman with Momoa as Aquaman. I don't know. I just think he looks really awesome, and I think his design, just how he looks is really awesome. I'm ready to compare this Flash to TV Flash.
Grant Gustin?
Yep. And yeah, definitely. That's how I feel about all of this.
It should be Grant Gustin.
Yep.
Jason Momoa is like, he's like the 13-year-old Hot Topic ideal of Aquaman. Like, hey, Aquaman's cool, guys. Like, oh yeah, why is that? Because he saves people and he's a cool superhero. No, it's because he's a big, buff guy who will, like, rip your intestines out. And Jason Momoa rocks, okay? So I think he's going to be good. But, like, when they first released the pictures of Aquaman, I was like, oh my god, of course Zack Snyder pictures Aquaman like this, like a Dothraki warlord from Game of Thrones. Like, of course he does.
Well, he doesn't look like Mermaid Man from SpongeBob. Like,
Yeah, but that's funny. That's cute. Mermaid Man's a cutie. No one talks about how much of a cutie he is. I mean, sure, he's a badass warrior king, but you know, he's a nice guy.
yeah.
Not a bloodthirsty savage from beneath the sea.
With tattoos and
Yeah. I mean, again, it's all about how it comes across in the film, and at the end of the day, the man who is saying we're going to have more fun this time is also the man who said he wanted to have fun with Jimmy Olsen by shooting him in the freaking head.
This is true. He's never been one with words.
Yeah.
But on that, we'll move on because there's another production that's been facing a lot of the same scrutiny over the last few weeks, which was Star Wars Rogue One. And in the recent Entertainment Weekly issue, we got a lot of news coming from them about all things Rogue One, including the confirmation of the thing I believe we all expected and knew. This is Hollywood's worst kept secret. Darth Vader officially is going to be in Rogue One, once again voiced by James Earl Jones. How do you guys feel about James Earl Jones returning as Darth Vader?
I cannot thank you enough for saying voiced. But so many people keep saying, "Oh my God, James Earl Jones is coming back to play Vader." I'm like,
oh my goodness, no joke. Okay, today Patrick told his mother about this, and
you guys are lucky I didn't go on a Twitter rant.
No, but today Patrick told his mother about this, and she thought that like the person who like was Darth Vader, like, you know,
was the one coming back,
like
David Prowse.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So I mean, I don't know why this is such a hard topic for people to like comprehend.
I mean, it's a simple misunderstanding, you know? I mean, like playing voicing, because voice acting is still acting, so I could see that. I don't think that one's worth ranting about, Andy.
That's why I'm glad. That's the only reason why I didn't, is because I'm like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. But he's not on screen. You know that, right?
I'm glad that Darth Vader will once again rightfully be played by one of the best black actors working ever. So good, because it's really funny that Darth Vader is like this really menacing presence, and then you take off the mask and it's like, oh, it's just some little white guy. Like, James Earl Jones is so much cooler than that, so good.
I think it's really cool that not only, this isn't the first time he's returned to the role over the last year or so, because he's actually been voicing Darth Vader on Rebels also, because Lucasfilm has really been going all in on making Vader menacing again, and so Rebels has been a big part of that. The Vader comic that was so fantastic, it was doing the same thing. Now, of course, the talk about Vader returning, and there's talk that there's a scene on a beach where Vader shows up and starts slaughtering rebels, and really trying to make the character terrifying again. And I think that's awesome. I think that's great. And I think it's exactly what the character needs coming off the prequels, because a lot of people are going to continue to associate Anakin with Vader, and I think that we need to see Anakin as one person and Vader as the other, because they're different. And that's why at the end of Return of the Jedi, he's no longer Darth Vader, he's Anakin again. So, I mean, this is great news to me, but touching on the prequels, we also learned a little bit more about another character in the film who is played by Forrest Whitaker, and they've been saying for a while that, well, maybe we'll start crossing over characters from the cartoons into the movies, or from the novels into the movies, and now it looks like that was the case this whole time, as Forrest Whitaker is actually playing a small character who was on Star Wars The Clone Wars, Saw Gerrera, who has actually got a great backstory. He was actually trying to lead the rebellion early on in the Clone Wars. Anakin actually trained his troops, and there's a big story here about some stuff that happened with his sister, and this character is so interesting because he's so layered and there's so much depth, and I feel like the fact that he has such a close personal history with Anakin makes having him in this film so great, because you have to think that either he knows that Vader is Anakin or he's going to find out in this movie. I think there's going to be a lot of play on that here. And the Empire actually tries to make Guerrero look out to be kind of like a guerrilla terrorist. And I think that's a really interesting angle that we haven't really seen in the Star Wars movies yet. I think this is fascinating, and I think it's really cool that we're seeing the leap of a character who was created for originally Star Wars TV show that they were talking about doing in live action, who became a Clone Wars character who is now actually in live action.
Yeah. Since before Force Awakens came out, I was more excited for Rogue One than Episode 7, because it's not your traditional Star Wars movie. And like all the stuff that's come out has just made me more and more excited because it's a war movie first, I think, and that's what I want. I want something different. I liked 7 a lot. It's a good movie, but I think that these side movies will hopefully help even out, like making it more unique, like experiences, so that it's not always the same type of thing. And that's what I think that will help it a lot too. Help the episodes a lot too.
Yeah, this stuff's real cool. Like at Marvel and DC, everyone's talking about like, oh, we can't use these characters here, we can't use these characters there, or restrictions, and that pretty much ruined Arrow for at least a good season and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And then Marvel is like, yeah, well, we all have the same universe, we just won't share it. So that's got its own set of problems. And Star Wars just comes out, yeah, this guy came from the cartoon.
Yeah, right?
So yeah, that's real cool. They got the best one already.
And I think that's really interesting that what you just said is that, you know, Marvel talks about the it's all connected thing and how cool it is, but they're not really even willing to connect the movies to the TV shows and vice versa as much as they let on. Whereas Star Wars doesn't even make it a big deal, and they do go, hey, you know that, you know, small character from the Clone Wars? We're actually going to turn him into a character that you're going to see now in a live-action movie. And I think that's great, because it really shows that they know the fans. And this is a character, I think, that not only can you play with in the live-action space without alienating viewers, but it's one that I think viewers will end up falling in love with. And if they want to know more about him, now they have places they can go, like the Clone Wars, to learn more about him. They talk about him in Bloodline. They talk about him in Aftermath. I mean, there's a lot of places where this character has a history in this universe now. And I think that's super cool.
The reason
And to
I'm
be fair, oh no, go ahead.
yes. The reason I'm excited about this news is for the children, like for kids who follow this show, like actively watch this show, to be able to have that ability to recall that they know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it's awesome that they're going to be able to have that moment and have that from now, like, I mean, you know, from now on, because, you know, yeah, you have Vader and you have Solo and there's, you know, Princess Leia and like all that, but the fact that they're going to be able to do that, I think is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, have characters for them.
Yeah. Was it Diego?
Yeah.
Yeah, and to be fair, other studios have like different divisions for all their cinematic universe stuff. Star Wars and Disney are all like Lucasfilm are all under one branch, right? Like everyone talks to one another more there, and there's no bad blood between all of them. So it's a little easier, and I recognize that, but it's still really cool that they can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, of course, to wrap up our movie news today, we are going to talk a little bit about a rumor that actually hit just today. And it's a rumor that we've kind of talked about before, because I've heard a little bit of this over the last couple of months. Fox and Marvel have started to get really buddy-buddy. There's a lot of camaraderie going on, especially between Tim Miller and Lauren Shuler Donner with Kevin Feige and the people over at Marvel, and they've been really getting closer. And now it's looking like Marvel and Fox have maybe begun active discussions about the idea of crossing the Avengers and the X-Men universes over, which is something I think that a lot of fans would love to see. And I actually think that this is probably the right move in light of Deadpool, because Deadpool leans closer to the MCU than a lot of the X-Men movies already do. I think it would be a good way for Fox to maybe say goodbye to Singer, because after Apocalypse, I'm not quite sure they're going to want him to return. And I think that this is kind of the perfect way to maybe let the X-Men franchise go in a new direction. So I think that this is really great news. I think this is really cool, and I would like to see it happen. And I'm also hoping that if it does happen, Hugh Jackman returns one more time as Wolverine.
Hugh Jackman is going to come back for little tiny things for his whole career until they I can't imagine that anyone's going to take over Wolverine to the fact where Hugh can't come back just for a little thing. Even if they because they're probably going to find someone, people won't like him as much, and then they'll use Hugh in between when they try to find someone else again, and it's just going to keep going like that. And I don't know, but go Diego.
Do you have something negative?
Nah.
Okay, because I like the X-Men more than their movies will allow me to. I love these characters, and I'd like to see them be in good movies. I know Bryan Singer's got his fans, and I liked X-Men Apocalypse, all right. I wouldn't recommend it to another living human being. Deadpool was surprisingly fun. I'm still surprised I like that one more than X-Men Apocalypse. Jesus. I really, if and how this would ever work out. I mean, they got to shift the tone drastically. You can't have Bryan Singer aesthetics. You can't have the boring costumes anymore. You can't have the boring movie. You gotta have fun with them now. And for the love of God, let them act like the X-Men. Then I can start being more excited about it. But until then, it'll be like the X-Men would be the straight men to the Avengers comedy. So,
and I think, like I said, I think that with Deadpool, it shows that they went more MCU, bright, kind of fun and ridiculous, obviously in a much different way, but it leaned more towards what we've seen Marvel doing. And I think that was the reason. I think it's a big part of it, to be honest. I mean, they're realizing. And when you see that Deadpool has made more than all the other X-Men movies, it shows. That's what people want. So I think it's very interesting, and I think that the idea of them coming together could be kind of cool if you maybe did what Marvel is doing with Sony. I mean, I don't know if Fox would ever be really willing to do that, but the idea wouldn't be so bad to let Marvel start calling the shots on the movies and Fox distributes them.
Yeah, I mean, X-Men Apocalypse underperformed, right?
Mostly, yeah.
I mean, not like to the severity of Batman vs. Superman, because I don't think they expected it to make $1 billion. No. But I would have figured like $700 million, like Days of Future Past numbers. But then there was like no buzz around it around release, so it's not that surprising.
Other than the negative buzz around it.
Yeah.
I mean, and have any of us talked about how we really felt about Apocalypse?
It's not good. It's just not bad. There are two things that are either really good or really bad. The Weapon X stuff, oh Jesus Christ, so dumb. And then the Quicksilver scene. There you go. That's my thing. Quicksilver scene's good.
Okay.
X-Men, Weapon X stuff is bad. That's the extent of my thoughts.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
For me, I thought that I liked the movie. I think it's good. The Phoenix stuff was done really great, and
never mind, I forgot. Sorry.
And I really want them to do that. I want them to go through it properly. The Quicksilver scene obviously was good. I really am tired of Mystique being the focal point. She just because I don't know.
Yeah, don't make Jennifer Lawrence come back. She's totally bored.
That's why. It's not that I don't like Mystique's character. I don't like Jennifer Lawrence's portrayal anymore. Because it's clear that she doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
I love Fassbender and
McAvoy.
Oscar Isaac was a waste.
Oh yeah.
And Angel and what's her face?
Psylocke and Storm.
Psylocke. No, Storm was okay. She could have used more. Like Psylocke and Angel were complete wastes on character. Magneto was great though.
Okay, that's fair. I think that this is, that's all kind of how I feel. I was very underwhelmed when I saw it. It was very disappointing. So I would like to see the series go in a new direction now, and if it is a way to tie in with Marvel, I think it's a good idea for Fox, and it's probably the right way to go.
Well, I mean, I just, like, I looked up right now, like, in 2012, they had a X-Men versus Avengers comic.
I have
release.
the hardbus. Or the
Yeah.
hardback omnibus.
So,
That
I
was a good
mean,
one like that.
Yeah.
I mean, at least they have content. I mean, obviously, it wouldn't, like, you know, there's so many comics on, like, both sides, but I think it's cool that they at least have something.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that would really lend itself to a movie.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So with that, we're actually going to be jumping into a new segment that we have today. We actually have some fan questions that were emailed into us that we would love to talk to you guys about. If you guys want to email us questions and get talked about on the show, you can email us at realfilmchatter@gmail.com or tweet at us at realfilmchatter, REEL filmchatter. We would love to answer your guys' questions. So, Sarah, what do we have first?
All right, question number 1. Lowell Reynolds writes, "Hey, Real Film Chatter. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing fine. I saw Finding Dory for the second time today and loved it as much as the first time. My parents saw it for the first time and loved it. It was really hard for us to get into a showing because even after 4 days of being in the theaters, the film was still sold out. There was a line outside the theater just to get in. I rarely see lines at the movie theaters these days. This film is going to make $1 billion. And yet, I can't help but wonder, how is it that Pixar, even after 21 years in the business, is still at the top of their game? Compare that to their rival DreamWorks, a studio that is sadly at its lowest point financially. Its last few films have lost them a lot of money. Kung Fu Panda 2, despite getting good reviews, was beat out at the box office by The Hangover Part 2, a sequel that got widely panned. How to Train Your Dragon 2, despite getting amazing reviews, got beat at the box office as well by 22 Jump Street. What do Hangover 2 and 22 Jump Street have in common? They're both rated R. Both Kung Fu Panda 2 and How to Train Your Dragon 2 had the benefit of being family friendly. You'd think that they would have no trouble against R-rated films, but yet they did. So, why is it that Pixar movies are still juggernauts, while DreamWorks movies are struggling? And is it their track records? Is it their marketing? How can DreamWorks right their ship?
Okay, so I've got a few things to say to this, and then I'll pass it off to you guys. I think there's a lot of truth in one of the first things that Lowell mentions is the track records. I think that DreamWorks has had a spotty of enough record that has really put them behind Pixar, because DreamWorks puts out 2 or 3 movies a year normally, whereas Pixar does 1 movie a year. So Pixar seems to be very focused on quality over quantity, and the one time we got 2 movies a year from them was last year between Inside Out and The Good Dinosaur, and most people said that The Good Dinosaur was not very good, whereas Inside Out was. So I think that there was a big focus on the one film and maybe not so much the other. The Good Dinosaur had a lot of issues. I think that their track records speak for themselves, because for every How I Train Your Dragon and Kung Fu Panda, there's a Shark Tale, there's a B movie, there's a long list of movies, Monsters vs. Aliens, that Pixar...
I love Monsters vs. Aliens.
Okay, yeah, but it didn't do very well, and that was supposed to be a franchise for them. And so I think that a lot of people don't buy into it. You look at Megamind. Megamind should have been a franchise, and it wasn't. And I think that DreamWorks focuses too much on certain... on not enough of just one, and they're focused on too many. So that means that no one's actually focused.
DreamWorks needs to go back to their amazing vision that they had in Monsters vs. Aliens, where they put Stephen Colbert as the president. That shows amazing vision.
Well,
and I'm just kidding. But seriously,
and leave Shrek alone.
I don't know. They just need to focus, I guess, on their story, and I don't know what they need to do. I don't know. Their movies just aren't as good.
You just need a hard reset, really.
Oh, well, here's another thing that we need to take into account that a lot of people don't realize. Pixar's one studio that's been at Disney and Pixar. You know, they've never lost and gone anywhere else. DreamWorks has been shuffled around between a lot of studios. And I think that's a really big problem because they've been at Fox, they've been at Paramount, they've been at, I think they've been at a few others too, but that being bounced around all the time, you end up getting different things from different studios. That's why not all their sequels are made under the same banners, other than the DreamWorks banner. And I think that plays a big part in it. There was very bad marketing for How to Train Your Dragon 2. It was something that DreamWorks has talked about. They didn't even want the big reveal in How to Train Your Dragon 2 to be revealed in the trailers, and yet Fox did it anyway. I think that plays a big part in it. Diego, do you have any thoughts?
I would like to know who was responsible for the decline in quality from How to Train Your Dragon to How to Train Your Dragon 2. And then I don't know what else to do. I mean, I guess marketing, they could use some better marketing because their marketing is always like the goofy family comedy. And that's not always what they have, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They have like the first How to Train Your Dragon, to extent part of How to Train Your Dragon 2, the Kung Fu Panda movies. They get silly at times, but they're really good movies for the most part.
Rise of the Guardians.
Yeah, Rise of the Guardians.
Yeah, right? Like that made like no money, and that was like good. You know why it didn't make money? Because it didn't look good.
Yeah, because the marketing was bad. And so here's a question that we should ask. So DreamWorks has fully been acquired now by Universal Studios. That is on the live action department. Spielberg went back there. His last film with Disney is the BFG. And as well as DreamWorks Animation has now gone over and is part of Universal. Universal already has Illumination Entertainment. Obviously, they do Despicable Me. They're doing Secret Life of Pets. They're doing the new How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Do you think being under Universal will help DreamWorks finish, or just in general, do you think being at Universal now, in-house with another studio, controlled by one studio, do you think that is going to help?
Yeah.
Yes.
Stability always helps.
Okay, so with that, they talked about last week that they're already talking about doing another Shrek. Do you think that's the right direction to go, or do we want to see them go another way?
No.
Stop focusing on the past.
If they somehow make Shrek like an anthology horror series, sure.
Okay.
Jekyll and Hyde Shrek.
And one other thing I kind of want to hit on in Lowell's question was he talked about the fact that these family-friendly films probably should have done better than the R-rated films. Why do you guys think the R-rated films ended up doing better than the family films at the box office?
Because Hangover 2 was followed up by The Hangover, and people expected it to be as funny. And
You're so wrong.
And 22 Jump Street follows 21 Jump Street and was better.
Yeah, they're both comedies, and they're kind of relatable. Like, you know, well, not like the Jump Street movies, but like people like, you know, who grew up watching the Jump Street show, and then you've got like,
Hangover.
The Hangover, which it's like, you know, it's a comedy. So I mean, people show up for comedies.
And
22
you know what else
Jump
too?
Street had one of the funniest moments of the decade when Channing Tatum's character realized what was the elephant in the room,
Mm-hmm.
and you could hear the ticking of the
Yeah.
clock. That is like the funniest moment in the last 10 years of any movie.
I rewatched it recently, and that part still like it hurts to watch because it's so funny.
Between that and
but you know what else too? Like the people like stuff that's different, and those movies, you know, for better and worse, you know, 22 Jump Street and The Hangover 2.
And they're super meta.
Miles in difference of quality. They're different.
And get away with it.
yeah, and I think that really is it. And I think that audiences keep showing time and again, a lot of the time they do want R-rated material. They want movies that they feel a part of. And
Are
I
true
think
to their character,
the
too.
audiences don't want just PG-13 movies, and I think that they show that with things like Mad Max and Kingsman, and you know, obviously The Hangover, obviously the Jump Street films. I think it's really important, and that actually makes a great point of where Men in Black is going to go now that they're doing the MIB 23 crossover. And Are they going to go rated R, or are they going to cut this series down to PG-13? Because the Jump Street movies have been rated R this whole time. So to cut down to PG-13 could lose a lot of steam and a lot of quality.
Yeah, that whole idea is stupid to me anyway.
It's the best idea.
It's the best
And
idea.
you know,
Stupid.
nothing.
No, it's absolutely
I'll
terrible.
tell you why.
Garbage.
Because
it's anime cancer.
No, that's a lie. You're thinking of Chappie. Okay, it's the best idea because they already expunged all the sequel ideas in the end of 22 Jump Street, aka the best end credits in cinematic history.
Yes.
I will give you that. I will give you that.
So they have to start hopping universes. Like, I just imagine Ice Cube.
Universe hopping.
Yeah, Ice Cube's gonna show up in the opening
He's
of
gonna be
the
cute.
next movie. He's gonna be like, "You two sons of bitches are going to a shared cinematic universe,"
Oh my god, and that would be perfect.
and that's the movie.
And he's
Okay.
like, I'm Q.
Okay, so thank you, Lowell, for that question. I hope I hope you got the answer you were looking for. I think that was. It's actually a really good question, and I'm really glad that you and your family enjoyed Finding Dory. So thank you so much, man, and continue to listen. Thank you. So we are going to move on now to our last question of the day, and it's actually kind of a 4-part question. So here we go. Sarah?
Awesome. Lee Gralls is very, very excited because he says, "Hey, RFC crew, I've got a few questions that I'm hoping you guys can answer for me." Well, we've got 4, don't we? Okay, so
Yes.
First one. How do you explain a movie with the lore and fan base of Warcraft being a flop aside for China?
I think a big part of it is I don't think its marketing was very good. I think that played a very big part in why it didn't do well here. And I think another thing is audiences don't really seem to be that interested in fantasy movies. I think that if you see things like Narnia that struggled to even be a series because audiences didn't turn out after The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. When you look at, a lot of the Percy Jackson films, unless you're Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, which are big, big, big deal, people aren't going to turn out. And I think that's a very big part of it. And I actually didn't find, I don't know Warcraft, and I didn't find getting into this world hard at all.
Mm-mm.
I thought it was very easy to get into, very understandable, and I had a very good time watching it. That said, I could see why some may feel like they couldn't go see it because they thought Warcraft was too dense or there's too much lore. So I think that plays a big part in it, and I think that people were scared to try it, something new.
I think that's true because I spoke to an older teacher of mine, and he said he was interested in watching it, and we usually share the same taste more or less in movies, but he never ended up seeing it because he thought, I didn't play the games, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm like, no, you got to go watch it because it's supposed to stand on its own. And even as someone who really liked the movie, I don't think that's its strong suit in the opening act. And so I can see how that turns people off. But yeah, I think fantasy is a really hard genre to grab people towards, like to get them to gravitate towards. Lord of the Rings is obviously that's the golden egg right there. But how do you can't replicate that,
Mm-mm.
Andy, any thoughts?
No, I don't know why it does better over there.
Oh, the user base. They have a huge user base.
Yeah, don't they
in
have
World of Warcraft?
Don't they have something like 20 million users or something up there?
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't even think Warcraft has that many anymore.
I thought they only
All
had
right.
10 total.
Yeah, they
Or
have
maybe
like
that's
less than
10 total.
million
I don't know.
now, but the majority of it is coming from that region of the world.
Okay,
so
that
thank you
makes
guys
sense.
for potentially giving me a sequel to a movie I've wanted since I was like 10.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
they've always been, they've always like that, and that side of the world's always been more into like fantasy type of things. I would say, like obviously Pacific Rim, how they like saved them from that, and Terminator is fantasy, and it's just I don't know, the like magic kind of stuff too.
With the
I don't know if I'm
mages
being
and everything.
culturally biased, but or I'm just doing stereotypes. But it seems like it works obviously for people in that end of the world. So yeah, just not. I guess people around here aren't that into it. that kind of thing, for whatever reason. But if it's a good movie, people should see it regardless of what it actually, like, what's in it. As long as they're seeing a good movie, they should just trust their friends that say that it's a good movie, that they liked it.
I agree.
Yeah, I really feel like I really hope people still go see movies even though they haven't played the games. Like the same thing with Assassin's Creed. Like I really hope people still go out, and they should have went out to go see Warcraft and gave it a chance at least, because I mean, it's a big world. I mean, but it's still like they still try their best to explain what's going on.
Yeah. All right. What's the second part of Lee's question?
Awesome. Question number 2. Now that the Watchmen are integrated into the DC universe with Rebirth, is there any chance we'll see more of them in the DCEU?
Okay. So one thing that I've been hearing for a little while, and it's something that's been kicking around for a bit, is that Zack Snyder is working on Watchmen again, and it's not going to be a movie. He's actually doing an HBO series. He's looking to flesh out Watchmen across a miniseries and doing it more justice, and I think that's going to include the before Watchmen stuff. I think he really wants to delve into this world. So I think if we're going to see the return of Watchmen, I believe it is going to continue to be the idea of that HBO show versus seeing them in the DC cinematic universe. And I can't really see WB being all that thrilled by the idea of having Watchmen in that universe, because it's so hard R and so different to the characters that you have right now in the DC cinematic universe. I can't really see them integrating it correctly.
Yeah, and Lord knows there shouldn't be a R-rated Superman or Batman movie.
Yeah, I know, right?
And wink, wink. Stop Zack Snyder. Stop him. Please. Oh my god, why the fuck? I stopped myself.
Thank you.
Why? Why would you keep going back to Watchmen? You already screwed it up once. I know people like it. I know.
I love it, so you can suck it.
Yeah,
I
that
rewatched
makes
it
two of
recently
us.
because I thought I liked it too.
You gave it a 1.5 or just a half?
Yeah, 1.5. It's not unwatchable. It's just really bad, and that's disappointing. Oh my god, stop him! First of all, they need to remake it and make it a good movie, not just an adaptation of stuff that happens in the comics without context. There shouldn't be a Watchmen TV show. Before Watchmen has some bright spots, it's mostly a failure. Don't use that. But if they want to reboot the DC movie universe, sure. Incorporate the Watchmen, Zack Snyder's Watchmen movie. Make him pay for his mistakes with his other mistake. Clean the slate, just like they're doing in the comics right now for the reboot. For Rebirth.
Okay, Diego.
And there you go.
Right.
Then we'll be good.
Andy?
I heard about that, and it really confused me, and it actually intrigued me. I like Watchmen a lot. I love Watchmen, in fact. It's like the only movie, but, well, not the only, but it's one of Zach's last movies that was actually good for me.
You didn't like Sucker Punch?
No, Sucker Punch was good, but not as good.
Oh, wait, are you? I was kidding. Are you serious?
I haven't seen it in a while. I need to rewatch it.
Okay.
But I remember enjoying it. Like, it has problems, but I enjoy it. I don't know, but like, I'm intrigued. I'll go with that. I'll see how it goes and where it goes, and then I can complain about it, like Batman v Superman, if it goes that way.
All right, Sarah, what's next?
Awesome. Question number 3. Is Pixar's trends with legacy sequels something good and something to hold on? Sure, they make money, but Pixar has been renowned to create great original pieces.
The whole thing with these legacy sequels is a lot of them came out of the fact that Pixar almost split from Disney, and they were forced into kind of making these sequels after Circle 7, which was a company Disney had created to only make Pixar sequels when Pixar was going to leave. They kind of made an agreement that they were going to finish the sequels their way, so they did. I'm really not thinking it's going to be something you have to worry about too much. It's just going to be something that was going to happen. It was always going to happen because the sequels most of the time are going to pay for your original films. And we have quite a few of them coming out. So, I mean, regardless of quality, we had Inside Out last year. We had The Good Dinosaur, 2 originals. We have Coco coming out still. There's quite a few of the originals coming out on top of the Toy Story 4 and the Cars 3 and the Incredibles 2. So I don't... And, I mean, let's look at Nemo. Nemo was... Dory was only made because John Carter flopped. It was an apology letter from Andrew Stanton to Disney. That's what that movie was. Because he wasn't interested in making a sequel until after John Carter flopped. So, I mean, that's how I look at it. There's a reason for every one of these sequels existing, and I'm not that bent on being that worried about it. They're still doing original movies, so I'm fine.
Diego?
Look, Cars and Cars 2 are problem child. The problem children.
Yes.
Everything else is fine. Everything else is hunky-dory, gravy. I really love The Good Dinosaur. When I first watched it, I was like, yeah, it's good. That's some good dinosaur. And I was like, man, that is something special. It's like The Revenant, but good.
Oh.
And, I mean, the other sequels that they've done, like Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3, you know, they're in good hands. I haven't seen Finding Dory yet, but from what I understand, that's pretty good, too. So... yeah, you know, I don't think it's anything to worry about, even if they did do sequels as often as they did original movies, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm content. Incredibles 2 is probably going to be the best movie ever, though.
Yeah,
Just throwing that
probably.
out there.
Yeah.
Andy?
Incredibles 2. Incredibles 2. Incredibles 2. That's all I want.
Okay.
That's all I want. I don't care about anything else Pixar is making right now.
Okay. All right. Well, that's
That's
fair. So, I mean, if that just shows that Andy is not adverse to the Legacy sequel at all.
No.
All right.
I just want that. I just want Incredibles 2. I don't even care if we get Incredibles 3. I just want Incredibles 2.
Okay.
What if they pissed me off and just like came out with Incredibles 3, just skipped it?
It would be like Spaceballs 3, the search for Spaceballs 2.
Yeah. Oh my god.
All right. So, what's the final question from Lee?
Okay, we're halfway through the year. What are the early potential awards contenders, y'all?
There hasn't been enough that I think is like really, really totally award worthy. But John Goodman should. He won't, but he should get a Best Supporting Actor nod for 10 Cloverfield Lane. Absolutely. I think that there's no getting around that. I think that that's something that should happen. And I would actually like to see The Conjuring 2 get nods for special effects and sound design. And I thought that I would love nothing more than with 10 pictures to see The Conjuring 2 get a Best Picture nomination, but it's never going to happen.
Diego, please do not.
Best Picture.
Don't do that! Come on, don't do this!
Actress, the Shark for Best Special Effects. Steven Seagal for Best Supporting Actor.
I knew it.
What just happened?
He's giving Blake Lively versus Shark all the awards.
No,
Yes.
that's what he's saying. Blake Lively should be Best Actress, and then he said Best Supporting to the Seagull.
Scuttle?
Yes.
Whatever company was training that seagull, major props to them.
It's
Whatever
Scuttle.
awards they can give them.
It's
give it to
Scuttle from The Little Mermaid.
Okay. Andy?
No, wait, I have real ones. I have real ones.
Okay.
Okay. Hail Caesar, Best Picture, Best Screenplay.
Okay, yeah, good call.
Best Actor, Josh Brolin. The Witch, I'd really like to see get something. Conjuring 2 would totally be cool with cinematography because it's the best shot movie James Wan's ever done.
Yes.
High Rise will not get anything, but oh my god, I've never felt like I was actually going crazy while watching a movie like I did High Rise. So direction, in a perfect world, Ben Wheatley gets Best Director.
Okay. Andy?
And then The Shallows.
Hardcore Henry for Best Picture. That's a joke.
I know.
I need to clarify to the listeners. You guys know I'm joking. But I did really enjoy Hardcore Henry, just to be clear. But 10 Cloverfield Lane should definitely get Goodman. Maybe story or screenplay. I don't know. Nothing really else pops out to me. Like Jungle Book, I'm sure we'll get
Best special effects. Yeah.
Effects. How awesome would it be if if Ben Affleck got like acting for Batman? Like that'd be funny. I would just laugh. I would cry.
Oh my god, that would be ridiculous.
And they just, when they're listing off the nominations, it's when he's like killing all those guys in the warehouse.
Yeah.
And he stabs the man in the heart.
Yeah.
Oh,
honestly, Ryan Reynolds for acting.
Okay, for Deadpool.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen, but like he
should.
nailed it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
I agree.
that just proves like there is like, I love Neon Demon, but like, she didn't really do that much like great acting. It's just like Nicholas Winning Refn being himself. Like she did good, but like not like award worthy. But yeah, nothing really comes out to me or pops out to me like award worthy yet.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. There's not a ton.
Nice Guys for screenplay.
Oh,
Ooh, yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah.
I could even go as far as saying Russell Crowe or Ryan Gosling for Best Supporting Actor, because I think you could nab either of them on a Best Supporting Actor nom. I don't think you could get a Best Lead, but I think you could get one of them for Best Supporting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
So mostly for me, the 10 Cloverfield Lane and Nice Guys should be in the front
I think
runners
we
right
all
now.
probably agree on that. Yeah.
I think so too. All right, guys. So with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode of Real Film Chatter. Before we go, we got a little bit of news. Of course, you guys know we've been talking a lot. San Diego Comic-Con is right around the corner.
Yay.
I know that we're very excited. Andy, Sarah, and I are all going to be down there repping Real Film Chatter. We're very excited. We hope to see some of you guys there. Diego, you should really come down for at least a day.
We might have business cards. So excited.
Maybe I will go down for a day.
You
I
should.
want to meet Diego in real life.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're really excited. We're going to be there. And even better, if you guys are there on preview night, which I believe is the 19th.
The 20th.
It's the 20th? Okay. So on Wednesday, the 20th of July, on preview night, we are actually going to be at the event Game of Bloggers, which is actually going to be at the pub over by Petco Park. It is hosted by Tony B. Kim, who is known as Crazy for Comic Con. He hosts it. We are going to be there going to mingle with fans, mingle with all sorts of new and exciting potential people to network and meet and have fun with and work with and
nerd out with. Yeah.
Nerd out with. It's Comic Con, and that's what it's for. So we will be there. And that's very exciting for us, on top of the fact that we're going to be at Comic-Con. And I know that we are going to be doing a Comic-Con special from San Diego, the three of us together.
We might have a Snapchat, too.
And we are going to have a Snapchat that is going to be run by none other than Andy Comer himself.
Yep.
So there's a lot of cool stuff coming up in July. And then something we started talking about over the last few days, I've been getting a lot of people asking about Harry Potter. With Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them just around the corner, a lot of people are wanting to know if we're going to do some sort of look back at Harry Potter or some sort of retrospective. I think that we're actually going to do a series looking back at Harry Potter leading up to Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. So you guys can look forward to us talking about all 8 films in the series leading up to our review of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I think that's something we are all very much looking forward to. Guys, do you have anything you want to add about Comic-Con or the Harry Potter show?
I will try to get a Miami Vice shirt so people could recognize me if they want to look for me at Comic-Con the one day I'm down there. And for the Harry Potter thing, I need to be on the Prisoner of Azkaban or I will shoot myself in the face.
You need to be in all of them.
Okay, that works too.
And what if he gets like to all of them except for Prisoner?
Then we have to kill him.
He has to kill me. There's no point to living anymore.
And Andy, anything from you?
Comic-Con is my favorite week of the year, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. It's our geek mecca. I cannot wait to go back. Sarah, it's going to be your first time. I know you're excited.
I'm so excited. I have my backpack ready.
I know, you really do. I can't wait, guys. It is
I
going to
gotta get a new backpack. Mine tore last year.
Oh, that's not
That's
good.
so intense.
I ran 7 blocks for a poster.
Yeah, and we'll probably do that again this year, too.
That's so
Yeah.
exciting.
All right,
right.
guys. So with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode of Real Film Chatter. Sarah, where can everyone find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at Princess Poet SB. Send me some love.
All right. And Diego, where can everyone find you?
At Diego Waffles on Twitter. That's DEGGO Waffles. AudienceEverywhere.net. The Waffle Press, my YouTube channel, where you can find all my video stuffs and whatnots. Like and subscribe. If you didn't like them, subscribe anyways.
And can we talk about Captain America: The First Avenger sometime soon?
Yes.
Thank you.
Please.
All right. And Andy, how about you, sir?
You can find me on Twitter at The Talking Can, rambling about random crap and getting into random Twitter beefs. Another thing, though, this month I'm starting the actual production of a short that I wrote, Beware the Gnomes. You can follow that Twitter account at Beware the Gnome. The Beware the Gnomes was already taken, so I'd
What?
I'm super.
I don't know. It's stupid. It hasn't been used in like 3 years.
I'm super excited about this, by the way.
Yeah, so follow Beware the Gnome on Twitter. I only have like one tweet right now, but like as I do production stuff, I'll like send pictures and updates and stuff like that. So yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. You two have read this, so you guys, yeah, whoever's read it,
It's great. It's really great.
Mm-hmm.
everybody that's read it has given me like really awesome feedback. So yeah, I'm excited to get this started.
All right, guys. And of course, my name is Patrick Campbell. You can find me on Twitter at PJ_Campbell or at Facebook at Patrick Campbell _PJ. You guys can also find this podcast on iTunes. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the show there. You can subscribe to it on Podbean at just www.realfilmchatter.podbean.com. And of course, if you guys haven't noticed, we're on YouTube now.
YouTube.
We do have a YouTube channel. It's going to be uploading every single one of our episodes. Of course, it's not in video yet. It is just us talking, so we're still just a bunch of floating heads and, voices. But that's okay. And I hope that you guys enjoy it. So please head over to YouTube and subscribe to Real Film Chatter there as well. Like the videos. Have a good time. Yeah, send us questions. Comment on the videos. We want to hear from you guys. Thank you guys so much for your continued support, and we will see you here next Sunday for a brand new episode of Real Film Chatter, and see you guys in San Diego. Have a good one, people, and see you at the movies. Bye.
Alien 3.
Shut up and sit down.